and welcome to this exclusive first look at the brand new Victory Duchess Mark II range with him, Martin Kidd.
And him, Chris George.
How are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you.
Right, what I'm thinking is before we talk about this brand new range, we should take a step back and talk about the original Duchess range.
Indeed.
So take us back to 2014 and how the original Duchess range came about.
I think we'd done the Countess as it was. It's now the Jack, and that was a two-channel sort of jack of all trades kind of amp. Hence, we changed the name. But it was suggested that we might make a nice clean amp that was a pedal platform that served quite nicely as a pedal platform, because it was, I think, probably around about then, I'm guessing, was a time when people getting their sounds from pedals was becoming a very popular way to go about things.
Sure. Probably
because people had lots of different gigs, like yourself. Kempers were still not as common. And so that was really the idea, is just a clean amp with a bit of reverb that would take pedals nicely. So that's how it came about.
And tonally, when you designed the original Duchess, did you draw on anything for inspiration, or was it quite an original thing? Or
it's probably, if it's like anything, I would always, with that kind of architecture or topology, I'll call it a Fender type.
Okay.
Just because the tone stack comes right after the first gain stage, so it comes off the anode of the first gain stage, as opposed to at the end of the signal chain, like Marshalls. Okay. That's very basic.
And it did, for Victory, did really well because it won sort of countless awards with a lot of the media magazines and stuff like that. And I would say it was probably one of the key amps and ranges that put Victory on the map, don't you think?
I think so, yes. I think it was that format had become popular, which is why we stuck with it.
Yeah.
But definitely was, when people started to take more notice.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on to the new range that's around us at the moment, based on everything that you've just said, we didn't really want to change too much of it, did we? We knew that people liked the tone of the Duchess and what it did, but we've made a few upgrades internally and stuff like that, which we'll get onto in a bit. But firstly, let's talk about the range itself. So it's very similar to the previous Duchess, where we've got the lunchbox head, which output-wise is 40 watts?
Nominal 40 watts, depends on the valves that are in it. And they're variable between batches, but nominal 40 watts, you can get up to 50.
And valves, what we're talking inside here, we've got in the preamp, we've got...
So there's 3 12AX7s in the preamp of the lunchbox, and then 2 EL34s.
Yeah. And obviously we've still got the switchable high-low output as well for that as well. We've also got the compact head, which is exactly the same as the lunchbox head.
Works in a similar way. Different.
Yeah. And then moving up through the range, we've got the V40 Deluxe head and combo. And the combo, the previous V40 combo was really well renowned as well by a lot of artists using it, wasn't it? So we've still got that, and also the Super Duchess as well.
Yes.
So, and there's a few... We've got some commonalities in terms of what we've changed with this range throughout the range, but there's some like range-specific things as well, which we'll get onto as well. So let's start with the lunchbox head. In terms of features, let's talk about the voice control, because on the new Duchess Mark II, we've got a 3-way voice control as opposed to the 2-way that was on the previous. What's different?
There's like an in-between. So the voice one on the original Duchess was fairly light in the mid-range. This is even lighter. Then there's a middle position before the old voice 2.
Okay.
So you've got a middle, another offering, if you will.
Sure.
and it just allows more upper mid-range or lower treble perhaps to come through the treble control.
Yeah, and works really well with different, depending on what pickups you're using as well.
Well, that's the whole thing. That was it really.
Yeah.
Just to give people even more versatility, or because an amp like that will respond differently to different pickups, and if they've got more shaping than just bass and treble, then if we can offer that, then we will.
So let's talk about the other new feature that's been expanded on the range, which is the mid-kick feature. Before that was a two-way control on the Lunchbox, and now it's 3.
Yes.
So how is that working internally? What's it doing?
Something different than the previous one. So the first position, position 1 doesn't do anything. Then position 2 changes the slope resistor in the tone stack.
Okay.
So you get more low end and lower mid coming through. And then the position 3, you get a bit of upper, almost like a presence bite included as well. So that's what that does. That I took from the V140.
Okay.
The previous V140.
So that's trickled down into this.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing in use is using the voice and the mid kick, and it's using them in conjunction with each other. For something that is essentially a really straightforward amp, you can get loads of different sounds out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the reverb, because the reverb on the Lunchbox and the compact head is quite different from before.
Yes.
You had one reverb type before, but we've actually incorporated 2 different types of reverb, which are tonally very different this time, aren't they?
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk us through it first as to what we've done?
Yeah, the idea was to try and emulate, as well, in addition to the previous digital reverb, so it is digital, we thought we'd try and emulate a spring reverb type as well.
Sure.
So we can switch between a pseudo spring reverb and the usual, I think it's probably a hall type reverb.
Yeah.
And we've also got a decay control in addition, so that we can, there's just something else to...
Which wasn't on the previous one, was it?
No,
it was just a reverb level. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you want to give us a quick demonstration of how these reverbs are different, and I'll make a bit of noise?
You make a bit of noise, I'll twiddle knobs.
Yeah.
Go on.
So what are we going to start with?
Well, we'll start with the digital, the original flavour, as it were. Just started with everything at, so the level's at 12 o'clock and the decay, or the dwell, is at 12, and then I can go either side of that so we can hear what that does to begin with.
Okay, cool.
then that's halfway.
Okay.
So then.
Oh yeah, there's a lot there.
Now it can get very swimmy if we want.
Okay.
There's about 3/4 on the. Loads.
Great. More than you'd ever need.
Yeah, it is.
But nice, nice to play to as well.
I'm going to crank the gain up a bit.
Do it.
Just, I shall.
And I just need to point out at this point, everything we've said about the Duchess being a great, clean type amp, it does drive as well, which I know we'll hear more sound clips of as well, but it just needs to be pointed out that this isn't like a super clean, high headroom. It will get dirty if you want it to.
Yes, indeed, yeah. You've got to use the tone controls in conjunction with the gain control.
Sure, yeah.
But I'll demonstrate.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, I'll give some...
Yeah, great. I think I need to get some humbuckers through this.
I think you do.
See how it sounds. Yeah, great, isn't it?
Most definitely, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the other amps in the range. We're looking at the V40 Deluxe now, and this will be common for the V40 Deluxe, the V40 Deluxe Combo, and the V140. The only difference is the power stage on this one. So let's talk about V40 Deluxe first. Output power is still 40 watts.
Thereabouts.
Valves, preamp, the same.
Preamp, now we've got 4 valves because we've got a valve-driven spring reverb. So it's not strictly a preamp, but there are 4 little ones.
Sure.
So we've got 2 12AX7s in the main part of the preamp.
Yep.
We've got an ECC81 or 1287 driving the reverb, and then we have a 1287 as a phase splitter.
Sure.
On this one.
And in the V140, the output valves are 4 EL34s?
No, they're 6L6s.
6L6s, my bad. Yep.
But there's enough scope, and this also goes for the lunchbox, there's enough scope on the bias circuit so that if you want, you can fit EL34s.
Sure.
So you don't need to switch anything, you just need to adjust the bias.
So let's talk about features on the Deluxe, the V40 Deluxe, and how they differ from the Lunchbox we were looking at previously. A lot of the same stuff. The voice control that we were talking about, that's all in there. The mid kick is all in there as well. The difference is, though, you've got built-in tremolo with this, and the reverb is different, isn't it?
Yes. So we've got the tremolo. I changed it a tiny bit on this one. Just for consistency, we had some issues on occasion where the tremolo wouldn't start going.
Okay.
So I've just changed the switching on it and just the way it works a bit. So it's the same. It's just you learn with stuff thing. And then on the reverb, the predecessor had a tone control on the reverb.
Okay.
What we've done on this, we've gone to an Accutronics tank for these amps.
Which is the same as we used in the MK Clean.
It is, indeed, yes. Yeah, we've gone for that across the board. And we've put a reverb send level.
Okay.
So that if you have high preamp gain settings or high, a lot of signal, and you're driving the reverb circuit hard, you can just tame the input signal to the reverb drive so that you can keep it cleaner if you need to. So that's the difference. We swapped the input send level. We got rid of the tone control because everyone used to run them flat out. So we might as well not have it there.
Yeah, and I think probably the whole thing with the Deluxe is that it's more aimed at the player who wants that little bit more authenticity, because you've got the spring reverb and the tremolo as well.
Yes.
So why don't you try and show me what the reverb's like in the V40 Deluxe?
Okay, right. And then I'll probably I'll explain a bit about why we've referred to the send level as dwell.
Sure.
And it'll be subtle, but you'll notice. So we'll probably give you a bit of extra preamp signal. Turn what we've called dwell down.
Yep.
You get less input signal to it, so the decay will be a little bit shorter.
Okay.
And then if we crank it up all the way.
Yeah, proper.
And it's longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had fairly high, but we can go all the way, full beans on both controls.
Okay.
See what. You can just hear that the dwell was just pushing the reverb valve a bit harder. So then that's why we have that now, so we can tame that. So
Yeah.
it's just cleaner.
Spot on. Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you bring the bit of trem in as well, so we can hear the two of them in conjunction?
Oh yes, I'll set those back to somewhere more civilised. And so what have we got? The
Great.
And that's what that does.
It's brilliant.
Yes.
So that's the V40 Deluxe, obviously available in the combo just down here to my side. And feature-wise, like we said, exactly the same for the V140. Only thing that's different about that is if you want all the oomph, it's in that head right there.
Yeah.
One thing we should talk about, which I don't know if people have noticed, but we've actually streamlined the looks of the Duchess a little bit as well, haven't we? We've just neatened up that front panel a little bit, and probably the main thing is this now the first streamlined range to carry the new Victory logo, which was first seen on the MK range, wasn't it?
Indeed, yes.
I think that just about brings us to the end. But before we finish, we need to point out, obviously, the Duchess range, as with everything else we make, is all made at our factory in the UK.
Yeah.
And kind of got me thinking that 11 years since the last Duchess range came out, what's your take on how have things changed for the brand and in general? And, just give us a little sort of insight into that time.
11 years... some people could say, well, a lot of companies would look at, I don't know, streamlining, making things more profitable, shall we say, and there are ways of doing that. But they would speak to me about, should we do this? And I think we all agreed that the usual avenues, areas to pursue, were not for us. We wanted to keep things in the UK. There's so many advantages. And so we've carried on making everything in the UK. We can respond to orders dynamically. We can be so much more in control of production. And I can be literally, 10 seconds away if we're starting to see a particular issue, and it could be anything. You get funny vibration or something like that, or this or that. People can get in touch with me at the factory if I'm not there, and we can resolve it very quickly. There's so many advantages, and I like to know that every single amp that we make goes on 2 hours worth of soak test.
Yeah.
So that, which is quite unrealistic. You'd never, no amplifier would ever get that kind of stick in even a 2 hour gig.
In the real world,
You wouldn't get that. So not a lot has changed really. I've learnt things, but there are things that I didn't want to change. I saw no point in changing. So not a lot has changed. I've learnt stuff. I've thought, my taste might have changed even, or I think, or I've discovered something. I think that would be nice to include that, or we're using this. We could expand. We could learn more, and we could, develop that further.
And I think at the end of the day, Victory still flies the flag for UK made manufacturing and attention to detail and listening to all of our, all of the customers and, their reactions and what they enjoy about our stuff.
Yeah.
And that goes from anybody from sort of like a bedroom guitarist or a pub guitarist right up through to, the big artist network that we have as well. So long may it continue, I hope.
Yeah, there's definitely, that's really why this range has come out, because a lot of it is from customer feedback and
just a bit of refinement.
How do I get this?
Yeah.
How do I get that? And I think, well, perhaps it might be. We can't react to every comment we get.
Sure.
But if we get a common thread, if we all of a sudden get, we see, we've seen this from, say an amp's been out for 2 or 3 months or something like that, and we've had X number of comments and they're largely the same comment, then we think, well, we'll bear that in mind, because obviously this is something we didn't think about or thought perhaps people wouldn't want it, and they do. So it's definitely a thing you must listen to. To customer feedback.
Absolutely. So that's it. Duchess Mark II is available now. So head to your nearest Victory dealer for more details.